quiet on the set. I'm just kidding. There's no one here. Okay. Okay. Welcome to episode 2 of It's Not That Deep.
2.
Don't do that to me. Where we try not to take things so seriously. A vaguely tattoo related podcast where we try to take things less seriously. Well, me.
Yeah, it's
Not so much
it's
you.
not me.
Yeah.
I'm just chill.
You're so chill. I'm a chill kind of.
I'm wearing I don't know what you call this, a vest, sleeveless top.
Yeah, you look like you just got out of prison.
Yeah, for not taking it too seriously.
You're so
I was too
chill.
calm. I was too chill.
Yeah, I am not. But I didn't take a Pro Plus today. So
No.
we're a little bit calmer. We've just got water. We're chill.
Mm-hmm.
Feels nice. But
Empty can of Monster.
yeah, we'll not look at her. No, we'll not look at that.
Yeah.
But how are you? Let's
I'm
start
good.
with that.
I'm
You
good.
good?
Do I need to introduce myself again?
Yeah, we'll introduce ourselves.
Okay. Well, I'm Sam. I'm the co-host. The funniness. The
Yeah.
quirkiness.
The light.
The light.
And I am Kirsty. I am a tattooist, and I guess I'm the dark.
Okay.
Like a yin and yang.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did you think last week went? We've released an episode, so how has the last week been?
I think it's been great.
Yeah.
I think we just kind of put it out there. We didn't do much promo on it.
No, it's like a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't do any of the clips because I was quite busy.
You were busy,
So
yes. Sam
I-
has other things, editing wise, that he does during the week as well.
Yeah, so I was very swamped. So, but it was good just to kind of put it out there,
Mm-hmm.
see how people react, and people seem to like it,
Yeah, I
which I
got
think is cool.
feedback from like tattooists and clients, and it was lovely. I was very nervous. I was, if you couldn't tell. I was very nervous, and whenever it was on Friday, we released it, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got home from work and I'd settled down, and obviously you take an MMA class on a Friday as well, so you weren't there.
No.
But I was like, right, we're going to release it. Had everything ready. You'd sent me everything, and, I put it up, and it was scary, and I was getting the feedback and doing all the messages and just kind of letting all the input from other people.
Yeah.
But where were you?
I was.
Where was my 30-year-old fiance?
I am not 30.
Sorry, 29. Nearly 30.
I'm clinging on.
Where were you? Until 11:30 at night?
I was in a forest.
He was in his forest.
Not my forest, a forest. I don't own the forest. I was in a forest.
Sorry, you were in a forest with your 4 other friends. Yeah, there's 4 of you.
Yeah.
All around the same age, so that kind of 30 adult man age. And you were playing hunts
Yeah.
in the forest, and I get a text from Sam at God knows what time saying we're lost.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I'm here. I don't know what you want me to do.
A long story short,
Mm-hmm.
me and my friends like going on walks and hikes. We had tried to get a time and a place for weeks.
Yeah, I thought you were going on a hike. I thought it was like a nice mental
did I.
health man hike.
Which we do. We go for hikes. We
Have a wee
talk.
chat, yeah.
So we eventually got a time where everyone was free.
Mhm.
We went up to the forest, and within, let's say, 5-10 minutes of us going on a hike,
Mhm.
one of my friends, Nathan,
Yeah.
said, "Let's do hunts," which is like a childhood game.
Yes.
And I was like, I thought we were just going for a hike, spend some time together, not just split up.
Mhm.
And he was like, okay, you and Dom have 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, so what is hunts? Because I thought it was like a hide and seek. It basically is like a hide and seek.
it is.
30-year-olds playing hide and seek.
It
I mean,
is.
live your life, whatever.
Whenever I was younger, we played letter hunts where everyone was assigned a letter.
Uh-huh.
You ran off and hid,
Mhm.
but when you got caught, you got beat up
Okay.
until you gave the letter. So you would want to really
We
beat your
did not
friends
play
up
these games.
until they gave the letter, and then
Okay.
you got all the letters you win. We were just, I don't really know, but what happened was Dom was like, all right, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
He starts sprinting. So then I'm sprinting with him,
Okay.
and he's like, keep running. We'll just keep going. Dom's very intense, very
Mhm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Dom are just now on a sprinting run up in this forest, and we keep running, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Must have ran about a mile and a half, 2 miles up in this forest.
I could never.
And we hide under a tree. And then half an hour goes past. We haven't been found. We're keeping a look. Time goes by. It's now dark. It's also very foggy. We can't see anything.
Hmm.
And then we spend the next hour trying to find each other, shouting at the top of our lungs in this forest.
I imagine for some reason that you are like howling. I know
Yeah,
you
no,
probably
there was
weren't.
there was howling. Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish you hadn't told me that. I was just.
I
being
didn't.
Funny.
I didn't even shout. I didn't even shout once.
Just
I was like,
using the forest. How?
I was like, Dom, you need to shout, and he shouted. And then at one point we did hear a howl. Now it might not
Wow.
have been any of us. There could have just been a random person that was like, I'm joining in.
Or like a wolf.
Yeah. No, I feel sorry if there was anyone walking through that park, which there really
Yeah.
shouldn't have been at that time. But if they heard
Mhm.
random, fully guttural man shouts, it would creep you out.
It definitely would, yeah.
Yeah.
But you got lost as well, and then obviously I was like, I don't know what you want me to do about this, and so I didn't hear from you for a while. Just
Mhm.
assumed you were gone. That was it.
We
Well-
were not calling any help. We had all agreed this is too embarrassing to get any
It
kind
is.
of help. So we were like, we will stay here all night.
Okay, but then I get a text from you saying that you were at Tim Hortons,
Yeah.
and then you came home at like half 11 at night. I was getting up the next day. I had a tattoo the next day.
I had everything Tim's had to offer.
You did, and did you bring me home anything?
No.
No, nothing.
No.
She's just rude. So I had a Friday night of sitting in, you know, putting the podcast out there. I was doing some drawing. I think I was watching Sex and the City. It was great. It was a great night. And then you were just lost and gone.
In the forest, yeah.
We had very different Friday nights.
I think I got poison ivy on my face. 'Cause
Probably.
We were in a patch of which I think it was poison ivy, but it was dark.
Hmm.
So,
We lead very different lives,
yeah.
even though we live together.
I was tired when I got home.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever you said that you'd kind of put stuff up on social media.
Yeah, and it was really
great.
fun. I mean, this week, all I've kind of been doing is being very nervous about the podcast, tattooing, and just kind of doing my normal kind of week. But I did do something different this
Mhm.
week,
Yeah.
which I never thought I would do. And it was, I booked in for a laser consultation. So like a tattoo removal consultation, which is
Oh.
really scary.
Oh,
I know.
that's like
I never
weird
thought I
for a
would.
tattoo artist to kind of, I'm turning against it.
No, I'm not. Right. So I'm not going to say what tattoos I wanted to get removed because most of the time I will know tattooists who have done my tattoos. So that's not fair. But it wasn't that anything that the tattooist did was not right. I think that the people I've got tattooed by are so talented. They're so good. But it was more about just we change, we develop, we like different things, we go through phases. I think we
Yeah.
might have talked about phases and
Yeah.
trends last year. We have a lot of that.
Last year?
Last year?
Are we doing one podcast a year now?
Imagine, no, last episode. Sorry. We talked about it last episode about trends. I think I've got every trend. So it was inevitable that we would kind of move away from certain things. So yeah, I'm very scared because laser is meant to be quite painful. I'm going to do a braid. Shout out a braid because I will only recommend people to go there.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was a bit scary and a bit of a big step. And it kind of brings us on to our topic this week, which is
Ooh,
tattoo regrets.
tattoo regrets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which-
Okay.
I don't know if
Okay.
everybody has. Maybe. I think there's lots of different reasons for regrets. Do you have any? Do you have any tattoos that you regret?
I think I don't know if it would be regret.
Hmm.
I would.
Regret is quite a strong word, to
Yeah.
be fair.
No, I think the big one on my neck is the only one I've ever been like, I want to get it lasered because I just
Okay.
don't like the way it sits. I think it could be done a bit better.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's just obviously they can't really see,
yeah,
but it's just the word tighten
yeah,
on your neck, which I think is quite cute. I think it's cool.
yeah. And I got that when I was young. I spoke about
Yeah.
that last week. Do you know?
But it's that nice like flowy, scripty font, which
Yeah.
was definitely in at a certain time.
But it's got a big looping swirl after the word, and
yeah.
it just
No,
doesn't
it's
really.
before the word.
Is it? I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't saw it in a long time.
No, I suppose you
It's
don't
a very
really look
weird
at it.
place.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it fits right on a neck.
I mean, I don't mind it. I just think it's wild how young you were when you got it done.
Yeah, and but that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I don't regret any tattoos.
No, I
or,
suppose
or
they're.
I wouldn't think I shouldn't have got that, because
Yeah.
it's just there, do you know,
They're story marks,
Yeah.
and they're like
chapters.
chapters. Story marks. That's basically what chapters are. So yeah, they like tell a story of different parts of your life that you
Yeah.
like this or you related with this. Like I said about my first tattoo was a yin and yang symbol,
Mhm.
and that was more to do with like what I was into at the time of being 16. And it kind of moves through the flows. But I did ask people on Instagram what they're kind of like, if they had any tattoo regrets or any kind of regret stories.
Oh,
Do you want me to read some?
getting saucy.
Everyone who sent in like a little tidbit about like their regrets, I'm very grateful because they were very funny to read. But I'll get a few. Hold on, they're on my phone. One moment.
This is one I made earlier.
This is one I made
An
earlier.
iPhone.
An iPhone. Yeah, don't. It's not a sponsor. I don't have notes this week though. Isn't that good? Remember
Yeah,
last week I had
yeah.
little notes. I don't. I'm very chill.
You're getting more and more relaxed. It's getting less and less deep.
So maybe in a year, then I'll get a little bit less.
Yeah,
relaxed.
like
Not
we'll
relaxed, more
change the name
relaxed.
from "It's Not That Deep" to just "It's a Puddle."
It's just a shallow puddle.
Yeah, it's a saucer of water. A vaguely tattoo related podcast.
Yeah.
Puddlecast,
Puddlecast. That can be like an
if you pardon the pun.
off-brand.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my lovely clients I keep bumping into everything. That I will not get used to. Me
I thought
having
you-
things around me.
We're just talking about "It's Not That Deep." You bang into something. I thought the Hulk was coming out. I was about to leg it.
What, like me getting angry?
Yeah.
Imagine. No, if I start getting angry on the podcast, that would be entertaining, to be fair.
Mhm.
Not a very angry person. You might disagree. Anyway, you having a good drink there? Is that nice?
Yeah.
What have you got?
Monster.
No, Monster.
Oh, a Monster. Is this a thing? Because my parents said it, you said it.
Yeah, I
Why?
think you said it last week. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I just like when you do a little Frenchy accent like that.
Yeah. yeah.
So yeah, one of my clients had said about not researching before getting tattooed.
Mhm.
They said, I trusted my friend when she said he was a good artist, and now I'm left with my entire thigh looking like shit. They were unprofessional and unhygienic. Never ever again. Cry emoji. You got to do your research.
It's also difficult to do your research if there's no research able to be done.
Yeah,
Do you
and
know, if the
also word of
friend says
mouth.
it? Yeah.
So if your friend has said like, I went to this person, you just kind of be like, okay, well then, they must be good. I trust you. So I will go to this artist. And how are you meant to know, really? Like, how are you meant to know that maybe an artist is going to be unhygienic or unprofessional?
You won't be.
You won't.
Even if they have a huge, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, online presence,
Yeah.
they're not going to show that they're not professional or unhygienic. It's like, here, look, I just went to the toilet and didn't wash my hands.
Yeah. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to show you that. So I
Yeah.
think that advice would
Are we
just...
giving advice? Oh,
I guess I'm just giving unsolicited advice.
can I as well?
You go first as
Okay.
as the tattoo person?
Connoisseur.
Tattooee?
Connoisseur.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. How would you know?
If someone was good or bad. Well, first of all, as I said before, 12.5 grams of amber leaf for a tattoo, and it wasn't a red flag. I was like, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
That is a deal. That's
How
where
are you
I'm
meant
running.
to know?
And see if somebody done it today, I'd do it. I'd be
Mhm.
like, that's a deal of a century, and this is why I get taken advantage of. But
Honestly,
anyway,
just to interrupt you as I do,
yes.
I do love a trade. I've said this before. I love trading things or services for
Yes.
tattoos, as well as money, because obviously you need to pay your bills. But I don't mind.
The barter system.
Yeah, I like that. So I wouldn't shit on the amber leaf. I don't want amber leaf, but like I wouldn't.
Okay. But my advice
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
before we go down the barter, the history of the barter system, and you wanting to trade goods and all of that, my advice would probably be, I don't actually have any. Honestly, I cannot give advice. What can I say? Oh, make sure that they're doing this. I don't know what they're doing.
No, I know you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't have a clue.
I think
Are they spraying stuff down? Is it water? Is it soap? Is it bleach? Oh, that scared me. Did you hear that?
Yeah, did you hear that? Is it me?
I don't know.
Is it me?
Hands off.
Do you want to do a pause and we'll
I don't think we can.
okay.
We're being held captive.
But no, we gotta fix that. 2 seconds. And we're back after some considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, you'll see I have a different mic. So if it sounds different, that is because we had a bit of an issue. And
Yeah.
also I'm not used to holding a mic. So I might forget sometimes. But Sam,
Yeah.
who is our audio expert, can explain what happened.
So again, this is an episode where I'm telling multiple stories, but to keep this one very, very short,
Yes.
pretty much I bought a microphone of a very, very well-established supplier in
Mhm.
music. I'm not going to say names, but they're the highest here that
Mhm.
you would get from. It was a B stock, which is grand. I've bought B stock before.
Mhm.
Basically, anyone that has bought something and returned it is B stock.
Mhm.
But I think the person that bought this microphone,
They do a sneaky.
I think they done a sneaky,
Oh,
and they bought
the tea.
it, and
Okay.
they had also bought a cheap clone.
Okay.
They put the cheap clone into the packaging and returned it.
That's naughty.
But I've spoke to the supplier, and they're like,
Yeah, it's dead
"This ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
Send us it back, and we'll get it sorted."
Yeah.
And I said, "I've done all the testing. I have a very strong suspicion this isn't." For anyone that is following that doesn't know about an SM7B, one of the most widely known microphones
The
on the planet.
podcast mic.
Well, I know it as the Michael Jackson mic because this is what he recorded on.
We're different people.
Also, one of the most cloned mics because of podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
Okay.
a clone goes for about £30.
Wow.
You buy a
Okay.
clone, 30 quid. You also then buy a real one for a few hundred.
Mm-hmm.
You put the clone in the box and say, actually, I don't want it anymore.
Mhm.
You send that back. You've got a real one for. And if the person that gets the return doesn't look at it properly
Yeah, of course.
and run through
The test.
the tests.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, we just had a little bit of an issue, an audio issue, but we're sorted now, and hopefully it still sounds okay. You'll know.
Well, your voice will always sound great.
Okay. So we'll jump back in. I think
Yes.
sorry if it's a bit jumbled, but we'll jump back into what we were saying, that you have no advice to give.
Oh, I have zero advice to actually give. I thought I could conjure something on the spot, but
didn't happen for
realistically,
you.
no, I have zero advice.
How do you know if someone's like professional or hygienic? I would say if they're professional, they're going to be hygienic. So they kind of go with each other, and you'll get a vibe if someone is professional, how they speak to you, how they conduct themselves. If you're in the studio, as long as they're not touching anything they shouldn't with gloves on, you know, like if they're touching their phone, their vape, tattooists love a vape. If they're touching that with gloves on, that's a no. You'll know if someone's clean as soon as you see them. But before that, if they're coming across as professional, they're more than likely going to be clean.
Yeah.
And
And
just
the glove thing is quite serious.
Oh, yeah. Contamination within tattooing. Again, not to get like too kind of technical and boring, but yeah, cross-contamination. You're working with blood. You can't touch anything with your gloves on. Only the stuff that you've been like using for tattoos, needles and machines and like your setup and stuff. But you can't touch anything else. And the amount of artists in my time who I have seen touch their phone, touch their face, wild,
Yeah.
touch
yeah.
vapes, like no.
Well, I actually just with the subject of gloves, I got a Subway the other week, and the girl was making the Subway. She had the gloves on,
Mm-hmm.
and then do you know when they put it in the oven and they decide that's a good time to do the money exchange?
Yes.
She went over and used the cash register
with the gloves on.
with the gloves on, then continued to put stuff on my Subway, and I didn't say anything.
Why?
I just
You have to stand up for yourself.
A part of me did feel bad because their manager gave them a full rundown and then just left about them cleaning. There was a guy literally like scrubbing the floor, which I understand needs to be clean, but the manager wasn't doing anything.
No.
But I digress.
You
I'm not
do.
going down that road.
But hygiene's important.
Yes, I would say yes.
And if you're looking like research into tattooists, just look at their pages, I think, like their Instagram or website or whatever people use for their portfolio. I use Instagram. I think you'll know the vibe. If you know a good tattooist, then you'll know a bad tattooist. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
once you know what a good tattooist, a professional tattooist looks like online, then you'll know what a bad tattooist looks like.
Yeah,
And
I
how
would
they
say
speak to you and how they
because
conduct
people can be
themselves.
professional and also come across quite friendly. You do it very well.
Thank you.
Do you know, on your account, you can tell you're a very professional, hardworking person,
I try.
but you're also friendly.
I
And I
try.
think that's the nice balance to get.
Do you know what it is? I'm just really excited. Like I
Yeah,
come
yeah.
across probably too friendly sometimes. I apologize if you've got like 14 emojis in a message from me, but if I get excited, I'm not hiding that excitement. I'm giving you kissy faces. I'm calling you little pet names. I get very excited when people book in. Another thing that people had said, that another lovely client of mine had said, not necessarily tattoo regret, more placement regret, which I feel. And they said, I really wish more artists mentioned this during consultations. I do find that artists with more experience do take into consideration the future tattoo plans more and help you make the most of the space. So this for me is massive.
Mhm.
Like planning, pre-planning where you're going to put tattoos for future tattoos. Do you know what I mean?
Chess instead of checkers. You're thinking
Yeah.
of 3 moves ahead
Yes.
rather than the move
My
that you're
brain
doing.
did not do that work there. I didn't know what you meant. I was like,
chess
yeah.
instead of checkers.
I understand. You're
Yeah.
thinking steps ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's different for you. You've got patchwork. You're planning multiple tattoos at once. But what
Mhm.
I hate to see, for a little mini rant, not too long,
Okay.
a little
okay.
mini rant is when you know a tattooist has put on a tattoo in a place that's purely for the photo. They've done
Yeah.
it in the middle of the bicep, not using any of the shoulder because the shoulder is hard to photograph. They've put it bang in the middle and you know it's just for a photo. Or they've put it too small on a thigh that has no flow or anything with the body shape. And it's just because they know they can get that amount done in a day and they want that photo. It's so annoying.
All for the photo.
It's all for the photo. So you want
Yeah.
to try and work with your artists to know that you're getting it in the right place. It's going to work for you for future tattoos as well, because that's what I didn't do. And I always say to my clients, look, go look at the stencil. Once I put like the stencil on their skin and I say, if you want to move it up, down, left, right, anywhere at all, let me know. Because if you don't say, then you'll just regret it. And then you'll go home and be like, it's a nice tattoo, but it's too big, it's too small, it's not in the right place.
And what I find just from you tattooing me
Mm-hmm.
is you'll ask me, now you have my absolute trust.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank
as
you.
we've gathered with this podcast, I don't know anything. I don't know what flows.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So whenever you're like, does that suit? Because I know that you wouldn't do it, you want it done the best it can be,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I'm going, well, you know more than me.
Mm-hmm.
I trust your judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But if I didn't get the vibe where I could do all those things,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have that trust. I might have a bit of regret, but
Mhm.
you are very much like,
You want to make
it
people
looks
comfortable.
good here.
Yeah.
You can move it if you want, but I'm telling you, it looks the best here.
I'm
And
gonna put it
I
on.
like being told that because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I would hate, like, do you know, maybe it's not so apparent for guys, but if you go to the hairdressers and you get something done and you leave the hairdressers and you're like, yeah, that's great, thank you. And then you go home and cry. That would be like 10 times worse if it was for a tattoo. And I would honestly, I would quit. I would quit tattooing if I knew someone went home and cried over their tattoo. Oh my God. Because they didn't say something, because they didn't speak up for themselves. Because obviously it's different. You see the design beforehand, so you can hardly, dislike that. You can say that at that point, that's the time to say. But if it's to do with like sizing or placement or any of that, I'm like, oh, please tell me. Tell me you like it and be excited, because I'm excited.
Yeah. You do get very excited.
I do. Now,
Yeah.
do you have a little
A
story?
I do.
A little
Aye.
kind of regret story, question mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now you'll have to forgive my reading if it's a bit bad in the saga of all the technical issues.
Yes, Sam might have misplaced his glasses somewhere along our travels in the last few hours. Can you read
Yes.
it?
Yeah, I can read it. Can I read it well is a different thing. Am I reading the words on the screen? Who knows?
Okay.
Right. Once upon a time, there was an ogre named Shrek. No, only joking. Okay. Are you ready for this? Do you
I
want
am.
the title?
Give us the title and then initial kind of input.
Okay. So the title is Am I the A-hole for getting mad that my artist hid their initials in my tattoo? Already, this is
Is that
all
not normal?
kinds of
Does everybody
bad.
not do that?
I hope not.
No, I'm kidding.
This is all kinds of bad.
Very
red
bad.
flags.
Not good.
And now, shall I read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. This is a short one. Names changed for privacy. That's the subheading.
Okay.
I went to a tattoo shop in my area with a photo of the tattoo that I wanted. It was one that my dad had gotten to honour my past grandfather, whose father also had it. But the point is, it was important to me that the tattoo looked exactly as it did in the photo.
Mhm.
I get to the shop, I explain everything, I pay, get the tattoo, and we're done. I think it looks awesome, everything is great. Until a few weeks later. Ooh. When I show my great grandmother the tattoo, also great grandmother, not grandmother, great grandmother, the
That is
tattoo.
and they have to be at least 18, so that is
Yeah.
some genetics. Very good.
Which
Long
makes the
lives.
next bit even
Long
more
lives.
impressive.
I've just said something. So I said long lives instead of long lives.
Oh.
Okay, go on.
So when I show my great grandmother the
Mhm.
tattoo,
Mhm.
she's static. She grabs my arm to look at it and compliment it, and then asks, "Who is AJ?" Oh.
Oh dear.
I ask her what she means,
Mm-hmm.
and she points out on the tattoo where the initials A and J, or maybe a T, were hidden into the tattoo.
Okay.
I'm instantly peeved off. Not the words on this, but I'm changing them. Oh boy.
Sam doesn't swear.
No, I don't. I'm instantly peeved. As my artist's name is Alice Trevor. Now this has all changed. The names and
I was
stuff
gonna
have changed.
say.
You know,
Oh, the
my-
drama.
My artist's name is Alice Trevor.
Mhm.
She tries to assure me it's no big deal if I hadn't noticed it until now, but I still reached out to the artist, sort of irritated. They told me
Yeah.
the style of art I got is called traditional, and it's pretty trad for all artists who do that style to do it. I demanded a partial refund and they refused.
Oh,
So I complained to the owner of the studio who made the artist give me a full refund.
fair.
Now the artist is running a full smear campaign, talking about moving shops and all this other kinds of stuff. My sister says that I am the a-hole for pushing the issue, but I feel like at the end of the day, I told you exactly what I wanted and you didn't do that.
Mhm.
Am I the a-hole?
Okay.
So,
First off the bat, what I love to see is people who double down. The artist was just like, that's normal. That's what I do. Don't worry about it. And then doubling down again to make it like a public smear campaign. That's wild.
it's just
Also-
bad.
Yeah. Also, in terms of traditional tattooing, yeah, if it's your own design, you'll put, in traditional kind of like old school designs like that, you might have the artist, because a lot of them were like painted as well, like hand painted.
Okay.
A lot of the time they would sign the flash with their
With
initials.
their initials, like an
Yeah.
art piece. Yeah.
Totally normal. I'm not 100% familiar if they would put it in the tattoo as well, if it was their own artwork, but they said that it was passed down
Yeah.
from their dad and their dad's dad or
Yeah.
whatever.
So it was like a not a hereditary tattoo, let's say. It's been passed down.
Yeah, it's been passed down. So it wasn't even their artwork. So why are you signing it? What are you signing it for?
They must have been like, do you know what?
I love this.
Yeah.
I'm so good at this. That's so stupid.
It's not
Also,
good.
if it's hidden, then it's not. That doesn't really stand up, because if it was hidden and you didn't want it to be seen, if it was your artwork, you would want your initials to be obvious.
They've been caught out.
What a
they-
stupid thing
They
to
have
do.
been caught out by. They were like, I'll hide this. Do you know what? They probably thought it was a bit cool, and then somebody's great grandmother with eagle vision
Mhm.
scanned the tattoo and went, "Who's AJ?"
What a legend.
Yeah, oh yeah, that great grandmother just saved the day.
Yeah. That's
She just got her a
crazy.
free tattoo. That great grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, she found it. She told her she got a full refund.
Oh, yes, was the refund. Yeah. The refund, 100%. You have to do that. You can't just. Do you remember the story about like the surgeon who was like stitching his initials into? That's the same.
well,
The same thing. You can't do that.
I look at it as a type of branding.
It is.
You're
you can't do that.
claiming ownership of another person's body.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No,
Especially if they didn't ask you. I have been that person. It's quite cringe, but
that branded someone's body.
no, that asked a tattooist to sign their work.
Oh, see, that's different. If you ask for it, again, you're asking for this tattoo and they do it.
Yeah,
Completely fine.
the artist said no to me.
Well,
Which was so cringe.
But that's up to him.
They
or
were
her.
like, it was him, it was Henry's on my arm. It's so cringe. I was like, can you sign this? And he was like, but it's my art style. Like, that's me signing it, that I created this art style. And I was like, oh, fair enough.
That's a good response.
It was so cringe.
Whenever you get to the point where you're like, I don't need to sign this. The art
He
is
is
the
the coolest.
signature.
He's so cool. Yeah, don't put your initials in it. What are some of the comments? What do people say?
It's a unanimous not the a-hole.
No, absolutely not.
I haven't been able to find one comment where someone was
It's
like, you are the
You're
a-hole.
an asshole for being problematic.
Yeah. But it is this person straight up branded you.
Yeah.
Not only that, this isn't even the artist's design. It's a
Yeah.
copy design. So
Yeah.
that's both points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much not the a-hole, and I would blow that artist up on social media so her customers know what she's doing, because who knows, she
Yeah.
could be doing this all the time.
Well, is there anything to say that they're not? They haven't done this multiple times?
How many people have great grandmothers these days? That's what you need, obviously.
You need that eagle eye.
Yeah, you need that 20 times binocular glasses.
Yeah.
Do you know, she was seeing that tattoo on the molecular level.
Yeah. She was really going for it. And do you know what? I think like grannies and stuff, they do that. They look at it and they're scrutinizing it.
Oh yeah, you show someone a tattoo and they're like, oh, nice ink. Nice
Yeah.
ink, bro. I show my granny and she's like fully in there.
She's like, what does that mean? What did you get that for? Do you remember your granny? It was like, she turned around to me and she was like, what do all of your tattoos mean? It's like, wow, okay, here we go. I'm telling you all of the meanings of all of my tattoos.
And she loves it.
She does. Yeah.
And she always says, I'm going to have to get a tattoo. I want a face tattoo.
Oh, my granda said that so much before he passed.
I think,
he was saying
I think
about it.
older people should just do it.
I
Get the
think
Mike
so.
Tyson.
Yeah, go to an experienced artist because the skin is slightly different if you're
Yeah.
older. But yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Who cares? What do you
So just jumping back to that.
Yes. Sorry.
What is your stance?
Obviously not an asshole. Obviously, you're not the asshole. The artist is an
I
asshole.
would be raging.
And there's only so much you can do. I mean, obviously you can laser if it really annoyed you, but it's also kind of a funny story.
It could fall under assault.
Could it? Do
Well,
you think? I mean, it's
so-
unconsensual.
So in MMA
Yeah.
and jiu-jitsu, I know more in jiu-jitsu, there's been times where someone has been either hurt after the bell
Mhm.
or after the match is finished, or they have been hurt in an illegal move and they have went down the road
Yeah.
of, we agreed to compete against each other under a rule set
Okay.
where it's not assault.
Yeah.
You're hurting me, I'm hurting you under this rule set. If you go outside of that rule set,
Mm-hmm.
it is assault.
Okay.
And it's the
That
same.
makes sense.
It's the same if you have any kind of a choke on someone and you
Mhm.
hold it and the ref's trying to stop it, and that's now assault
Mm,
because under the rule
That makes
set you've
sense, though.
agreed to
of
compete in.
course. Yeah.
So if you've agreed you will tattoo this on me
Mm-hmm.
and you've went beyond that, well,
Yeah.
it's the same as them pinning you down, tattooing your face.
Yeah.
You
That's
didn't
wild.
ask for that.
Yeah.
So I would say that could fall under
Definitely.
assault.
Do you know what's interesting? That if you get a tattoo when you're underage, so under 18,
hmm
technically you're a child. And if you tattoo someone who's under 18, then it is assault because they can't consent
Yeah.
fully. And it is a type of assault. So this is why I always say to someone, if you're trying to get a tattoo when you're underage, they are okay with doing something that's as illegal as assault on a minor. And you can get put on a register and everything. Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty mad.
That's wild. And also, can I just say that no one is getting a good tattoo under the age of 18? That was a couple of the people wrote in about like getting tattoos when they're young.
My chest tattoos, it's all right.
It's a questionable.
It's obviously aged a bit.
It's a
yes,
questionable statement.
it is aged a bit,
Okay.
but that's because I was young.
Okay. But you still identify with like the meaning and you still like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, then you're definitely in the minority.
My outer forearm, I think that they're good. I think they fit into the rest of my tattoo styles.
Okay.
They're quite dirty, quite grungy, grimy.
Okay.
You know, I've still got like almost like dirt mark tattoos over me throughout. You know, the
Okay.
dots,
Yeah.
balls in the same.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad that you love your tattoos.
Yeah.
Not all of us are as lucky, which is why I'm getting laser. And when I go for the consultation, maybe I'll talk about it on here because I'm really scared.
Yeah, I think that
About
would be cool.
What's going to feel like, and if it can actually be done.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to get laser,
Yes.
but like they haven't made I think the jump to get laser is a lot harder than the jump to get a tattoo now.
Oh, 100%. Because
Yeah.
it is meant to be more painful and it takes a lot longer. It's also, I don't know if it's expensive. I actually don't really know the pricing. I will find all of that out. But it's definitely a longer term commitment to
Yeah.
getting tattoos removed, especially if it's color tattoos. they take a lot longer sometimes. And if you're wanting to cover it, or if you're just wanting bare skin, I don't know. I think there's lots of like different elements to it. So yeah, I think people are a bit more scared of lasering than tattoos.
Yeah.
But on that note, would you like to finish up for the day after all of our
this
escapades?
I hope anyone listening or watching, it's not too much of a disjointed episode.
Yeah, I hope not. Let us know.
We done as much as we could, you know. Well, yeah.
I didn't do anything.
I
think I took a video of you when you were on the phone because you were so like, ah.
We may or may not have used the time of the technical break to go and get dinner.
We did. Yeah, we also
for 4 hours.
Oh, we also watched half an episode of The Last of Us, which we need to go and finish.
But hopefully this technical issue will not rise up again.
No. We'll see next week if I'm holding this.
More so for me to be okay with it.
Oh, bless him. He gets so stressed.
Oh, I do. But yes, anyone that has listened, hopefully it hasn't been too much of a Humpty Dumpty episode.
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's episode 2. Give us a break.
You know what to say?
What?
I don't know. I was hoping you would come off with something.
Keep doing that. Actually do. It's quite funny.
Yeah. But no, hopefully it was a good listen.
I would like to know more people's regrets as well. So if anyone has any messages.
I want the juicy stuff.
You want tea. I want tea.
I want the juicy stuff. Yeah. I want people that are like, oh no.
Do you know why? Because I can't tell my tea because it's too it's too like pinpointed on certain people. I mean, maybe when I get more comfortable. No, I can't. I couldn't be that person.
No.
So you tell me your tea and then I can just talk about it very vaguely and very anonymously.
Yes.
But for now.
Do
you want to do this again next week?
Yes, I'll pencil it in.
Yes?
Yes, I'll pencil it in.
Okay. And
Lovely.
I hope everybody enjoyed. Make sure to follow us and stuff on the YouTube and Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, which we've not done anything. We need to get on some like little clips.
Yep. So I'll be getting all the clips out. Yeah. I think this week it will be technical problems, which will be lovely.
I'm going to put the little video up of you on the phone.
Yes, we'll upload that on the Instagram.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so follow us on all those things and we'll see you next week.
Yes, and always remember.
It's not that deep.
No, it's really not. Even whenever your microphone breaks after spending hundreds of pounds on it.
It's not that deep.
It's not.
Bye.